In this tutorial, we are going to learn dimension. If you are interested in previous set of tutorials, link to complete playlist is given in the description. This dimension command contains all these commands. That means any one of these commands you can directly give from this single command. Therefore, this command is faster to use. And if you want to learn how to use these individual commands, then link to that tutorial is also given in the description. This dimension command is added in AutoCAD 2016. If you are having version lesser than 2016, then this command may not be there. Click on dimension, then zoom here. You can use this command in two ways. You can directly select the object, or you can specify first extension line origin. But to use this command more effectively, using select object is recommended, because by using the option to specify first extension line origin will only create horizontal, vertical or aligned dimension and will not create other type of dimensions. Take your cursor on the object to which you want to give dimension, and it is recommended that when taking your cursor on the object, don't take it on any object snap, otherwise it will not select that object. You take it in the space where there is no possibility of any object snap. Then click on the object, then take your cursor below and click. So here this dimension is created. Zoom minus. Now this dimension is very small. To increase the size of this dimension, you will have to click on annotation. Then click on dimension style. Keyboard shortcut for dimension style is D, enter. Click on it. Click on modify. Click on fit. Then you will have to increase this scale here. Use overall scale off. I will make it 5. OK. Close. Now this dimension is properly visible. Again, we will give next set of dimensions. Click on dimension. Take your cursor on the object. Click. Take it outside and click. Then again we will give dimension for this inclined line. Click on it. Now here you can see that it is showing vertical or horizontal dimension and it is not showing aligned dimension. Now this is happening because ortho mode is on. So when you want to give aligned dimension, at that time you will have to make ortho off. Click on it. Now here it is showing aligned dimension. Click. Then take your cursor on this circle. If you take your cursor on circle, then it will show diameter dimension. And if you take your cursor on the arc, then it will show radius dimension. Suppose I will take my cursor on the circle. Then if you take it inside, then it will give dimension in this way. And if you take it slightly outside, then it will give dimension in this way. So I want to give in this way. So I will click here. Then give the position for the dimension. Click. Then I will take my cursor on this circle, then click. And if you don't want diameter and if you want to show the radius, then you will have to click on radius here. Click on this radius option, take your cursor above and click. Same way, if you want to specify jogged radius, then take your cursor on the arc. Then here jogged option is shown. You can select this option by typing the blue letter in that option. So in jogged, J is blue, so you can type J, or you can also press down arrow key and select the option. Suppose we will press down arrow key and from here we will select the option. Click on jogged, then take your cursor on the arc and click on it. Then you will have to specify center location override. So this jogged is useful when center point of your arc is too far from arc and it is going outside your drawing sheet. So I will specify my override location here. Then specify dimension line location. So while specifying dimension and location, you can control the size of the jog. Suppose I want jog size to be this much, so I will click there. Then you will have to specify jog location, take your cursor below and click. And if you want to specify the arc length, then take your cursor on the arc, then again press down arrow key and click on arc length. Then take your cursor on the arc, click there, take it above and click. Then if you want to give angle between two lines, then click on first line, click on second line. Then specify the position of your angle dimension. Suppose I want on this side, so click there. In this way you can add angular dimension. Then if you want to give dimension in one line, then at first you will have to specify one dimension. You will specify this dimension, click on line, take your cursor above and click. Then to give dimension in one line, you will have to choose this continue option. Click on continue. Then specify first extension line origin to continue. So if you click on this side, then you can create continue dimension on this side. And if you click on this side, then you can create continue dimension on this side. So I want to create continue dimension on this side. Therefore I will click here. Click. Then take your cursor on this side and specify second extension line origin. So I will click on this endpoint and this endpoint. Then to stop continue option, you will have to press enter 2 times, 1 and 2. Then you will come out of the continue option. Then if you want to specify dimension from one line, then you will have to use this baseline option. Click on baseline. Then again specify first extension line origin as baseline. If you want to specify dimension from this extension line, then you will have to click on this side. And if you want to specify dimension from this extension line, then you will have to click on this side. So I want to specify from this extension line, therefore I will click here. Then specify second extension line origin, so click here and here. Then press enter 2 times to come out of the baseline option. 1, 2. Now these dimensions are very close. To distribute them properly, you can use the distribute option. Click on distribute. Then specify method to distribute dimension. Click on offset. Then again click on offset. Then specify the gap. I will specify gap of 5. Enter. Then select base dimension. I will choose this one. Then select dimension to distribute. I will choose these 2 dimensions. Press enter. So here placed properly. Then next is this align option. For this we will erase this dimension and we will shift this dimension. If after giving dimension, if you want to change the position of the dimension, then for that you will have to click on it. Then click on this blue grip and take your cursor wherever you want it and click. So in this way you can change the location of the dimension after placement also. And if you want to take it outside, click on this blue grip, take it outside and click. So in this way you can position them as per your requirement. And if you want to cancel these updations, just take your cursor on this blue grip and click on this reset text position. So it will again bring back to original position. Then press escape. Then to align this dimension, click on dimension, then click on align, then select base dimension. I will choose this one. Then select dimensions to align. I will choose these 2 dimensions. Then press enter. So all these dimensions has been aligned. Then next is this ordinate option. Click on ordinate. Then I want to give ordinate dimension for this point. Click on this point. Then if you move your cursor in horizontal direction, then it will give Y position, and if you move your cursor in vertical direction, then it will give X coordinate position. Click. Same way I will specify here Y positions. Take your cursor outside, track that point and click. And I will place some dimensions here also. Then press enter. So in this way you can add ordinate dimension. Press escape. So these ordinate dimensions are actually the location of X and Y coordinate. Take your cursor on this point, and here you can watch that the coordinate location is 3195, or just I will shift it to a more accurate position. So here it is, X is 3194 and Y is 1307, and 0 position for this ordinate is here, origin point. And suppose if you want to change the 0 position for this ordinate dimensions, then select these dimensions, then click on this blue grip, then click where you want to specify your 0 position. Suppose I want to specify this endpoint as a 0 position, just click there and press escape. So here you can see that your ordinate dimensions has been updated as per this 0 position. So in this way you can specify your dimensions using this dimension command. Then you can give these dimensions using these individual commands also. The procedure to give these individual commands is same as we have seen in dimension. Only you have to select that particular command and give the input as we have seen in this dimension command. Press escape. Then if you want to give arrow with text, then you will have to use leader command. Click on leader, then specify leader arrowhead location. I will click on this midpoint, take your cursor away and click. Then type your text. Suppose I will type leader trial, click outside. Now this text and arrow is smaller. To increase the size of this leader, click on annotation, click on multi-leader style, then click on modify, then click on leader structure, then specify scale. Here you will have to increase the scale. We will make this scale as 5. Okay, close. Now the scale for this dimension and this leader is same, but still the multi-leader size is larger because maybe their text size and arrow size is higher. So what we will do, we will check the size for these dimensions and we will update the size of leader as per that. To check the size of dimension, click on annotation, click on multi-leader style. If this style override gets added, you will have to delete it because it creates problem later on. Just right click and delete. Yes. Then click on modify. Then click on text. So here text height is 2.5. Click on symbols and arrows, and arrow size is 2.5. Click on cancel, close. Then click on annotation, click on multi-leader style. Click on modify, then click on leader format and here make the arrowhead size as 2.5. Click on content and make the text height 2.5. Okay, close. Now here these sizes are matching. Then to make the settings of your dimension, you will have to use dimension style command. So for that, click here on annotation, click on dimension style. Keyboard shortcut for dimension style is D, enter. Click on it. Then click on modify. Now dimension is made of 4 elements. First is dimension text, then arrow, then line with arrow is called as dimension line, and these vertical lines are called as extension lines. We can make setting for each element. Here Now setting is for lines, dimension lines. From here you can choose different color for dimension line. You can choose different line type. You can assign line weight. Then if you don't want to see any dimension line, just tick here, suppress dimension line 1. That particular dimension line will be made invisible. Same way you can suppress dimension line 2. So in this way no dimension line is visible. If you want to show them back, again click here, so it will be visible. Then here is the setting for extension lines. These are the lines on the sides. From here you can assign color for extension line. Then from here you can control extend beyond dim lines. That means how much should be the length above the dimension line. That length is called as extend beyond dimension lines. So this length you can specify here. Suppose we will increase it, we will make it 3, so it will be visible properly. Click below. So here you can see that this length has been increased. Same way here you can specify offset from origin. So this offset from origin is the gap between the object and the start point of the extension line. So this gap is called as offset from origin. We will increase it also. Suppose we will make it 1.5. Click outside. So here this gap is increased. And if you want extension lines of fixed length, then tick here, fixed length extension lines. So the length of all the extension lines will be same. Then here you can specify the length. So this length will be this length. So this distance will be below the dimension line. So this dimension you can specify here. So above length you can specify here, and below length you can specify here. Suppose I don't want this option, I will remove this tick. Then if you want to suppress extension lines, from here you can suppress them. Extension line 1. So here it is not showing extension line 1. Same way you can suppress extension line 2. So here extension lines are not visible. Again click here to bring them back. Then click on symbols and arrows. So normally close filled arrows are selected by default. Click here. You can choose architectural tick. So it will shown like this. If you choose architectural tick, then in lines section you can specify this extend beyond ticks. Suppose I will specify here 4, enter. So here you can see that this dimensions line has came out from this extension line. So this dimension you can specify here. This is only applicable for architectural ticks. Click again on these symbols and arrows. You can also specify dots, or you can specify square filled box. You can specify different on each side for first arrow and second arrow, or you can specify both same. So normally close filled arrow is used. Then from here you can specify arrow size. Then click on text. Then from here you can choose your text style. And if you want to make any changes to text style, click here on this 3 dot button. It will bring this text style, and from here you can make changes to your text style, and from here you can make changes to your font. And never change this height, always keep this height 0, because we are changing the height from this dimension style. If you change height here, then it will create problems. Click on cancel. Then from here you can choose text color. Then here you can specify text height. Then text placement, vertical. Right now it is above, therefore it is showing dimension above the dimension line. If you click here and click on center, then dimension text will be shown between the arrows in the center. And By clicking on this below, you can also show dimension text below the dimension line. I will keep here above. Then if you want to show your dimension text horizontal, then click here, all the dimension text will be horizontal. And if you want to align as per the dimension line, then click here on aligned with dimension line. So it will be aligned with dimension lines. And if you want to show this dimension horizontal, then you will have to choose this ISO option. Then it will show this radius dimension or dimension which are outside the extension lines, those will be made horizontal. Then this offset from dim line is this gap between the dimension text and the dimension line, that is called as offset from dim line. Then fit, from here you can increase the scale, this will control the size of your dimension. Then if you don't want to show this internal line, then tick here, it will not show this internal line. And again, to bring it back, again tick here, it will show it. Then primary units, if you want to show dimension in feet and inches, you will have to choose engineering or architectural. Suppose we will choose here engineering, so here it is showing dimension in feet and inches. And for architectural also, it will show in feet and inches. Click on decimal. Then from here you can control your precision. Suppose if you want 4-digit precision, so it will show 4 digits. If you want 2-digit or 0, so as per that it will show the precision. Suppose I will keep here 2 digits. Then decimal separator, now it is using comma. Click here and you can use period also. Then from here you can control unit for angles and angle precision. If you don't want to show these zeros after the decimal point, then you can suppress them here. Click on this trailing, so it will suppress zeros after the decimal points. And if you click on leading, it will suppress the zeros before the decimal points. Then alternate units, if you want to show 2 units in single dimension, then you will have to tick here. Tick here. Then from here you will have to choose other unit. Suppose I want to show mm and inches, so click on this engineering. Now it is showing mm and inches. And here you will have to give multiplier for alternate units. So using this multiplying factor, it will create value for the second unit. So here this value is correct for inches. I don't want to show this here. I will remove this tick. So in this way you can make settings for your dimensions. Click on OK. Click on close. So as per our settings, the dimensions has been updated. If you want to change the dimension text, just double click on it and type the text. Suppose I want to write here 2 holes 20 dia. So from here you can choose the symbol and delete this other dimension, click outside. So in this way you can edit the dimension text. Or you can, suppose I want to make it 100. So here only dimension text will change and the length of object will not change. Then press escape. Then if you want to add geometric tolerance symbols, then for that type TOL, tolerance, enter. Then from here you can choose your GD&T symbol. Suppose I make it perpendicular, then give the tolerance value. If you want to add diameter symbol, you can add it here. From here you can add the material conditions. Then here you can add datum. Click on OK, click outside. So here this symbol is created. And suppose if you want to create this datum, we will just erase these dimensions. And suppose we want to put it here on this line, then click on leader, then click on this midpoint, take your cursor outside, click and press escape. Then move this, click on move, select this, enter. Then to catch the midpoint of this line, just press shift right click and click on mid between 2 points. Click on this point and this point and click here. So in this way it has been added for this line. And suppose I want to define this line as a datum A. For that, click here, click on polygon, enter number of sides to be 3, enter. Then choose this edge method, then specify first endpoint, take your cursor away, make ortho on and click. Then to fill this triangle, click on hatch, then select solid, then click inside this triangle, click on close hatch creation. Then move this, move, select this object, enter, then specify this midpoint as a base point and this midpoint as a second point. Then click on line, click on this endpoint, take your cursor above and click. Press enter. Then to create box, type TOL for tolerance, enter. Then in datum 1 type A, OK, and click. Then move, select this datum, enter, click on this midpoint, click on this endpoint. So in this way you can add GD&T tolerance symbols. So in this way you can use dimension. In the next tutorial we will give dimension to some of the drawings which we have created in the previous tutorials, and after that we will learn next set of commands and we will solve exercises on those commands. And we will also continue our series for civil, electrical, interior, electronics and chemical engineering. So thanks for watching. We will stop here.